Oh, you're so good at that, Crane.
Oh, I've been working for years and years now to hone my skills. His opponent on the other side of the map, the bottom left-hand side, it's our blue Protoss player. His name is ShaDoWn.
Ooh.
So, as you said at the very beginning of the game, Grant, aggression, aggression, aggression. I cannot think of two players who are more accurately marked by their aggressive play, unorthodox strategy. I mean, there's a couple Protoss out there that can give ShaDoWn a run for his money, but Bly, certainly a player who we can expect to see something unusual, even though it looks like he might be starting with a normal hatch gas pool opener here.
Yeah, you'd kind of expect it for the first game with the first game of the $84,000 tournament. You're gonna want to find your feet. You're gonna want to find your legs. You're gonna want to get started.
We're wrong.
Just kidding. Yeah, this is very Bly-esque. Now, ShaDoWn, maybe doing his homework a little bit here, is going to be able to prevent them for a Protoss to take control even, and that's what ShaDoWn's going to be looking to do here. The Void Ray follow-up, kind of anticipated here. ShaDoWn, we said, is one of those players, you know, like the Goblins and maybe even the Drogos of Protoss that like to throw in a little bit of fun. And that Void Ray allows you to get complete control of the map. So right now, map control is ShaDoWn's. He's going to have that. This is very nice from Bly, though. Catching this bird as it goes down at the 4-minute mark, which is quite quick. He may be able to get the cancel. There's only the second adept joining in now. He's going to be able to get it. That's a big win here from Bly. If he can get the probe as well, which he will, this is just slowed Bly down. And the Oracle. We can see here, in terms of workers killed, that only that one worker has gone down. And even a Ling, I believe, getting in there to the natural. Bly seeing almost everything, and a great, great start.
A great start indeed. You know, Grant, you talked at the very beginning of the game about how the Stargate opener gives you so much map control, and this is one of the reasons that should. But a second
more
and a third gateway.
A second and a third gateway?
Let me try that again. Second and a third Stargate.
You clever bugger. Yes.
Yeah, no.
So ShaDoWn is now really transitioning into that mass Stargate style. Now, I will say, Bly is looking on top of his game, and I hate to say it, I really do, but he's looking on fire.
You had to do it. Come on.
I had to do it.
We have all of Dreamhack to make that joke, and you make it on day one, 20 minutes into the first broadcast?
6 minutes into the first broadcast.
Oh, that's true. We're behind schedule, aren't we?
Yep.
Oh, jeez. Well, Bly's going for Roaches here, Grant. How do you feel about Roaches versus Void Rays? He's seen the second Stargate. He knows it's going to be mass Void Ray. Is this a viable choice?
Well, I mean, yeah, Roaches, they're not so great against Void Rays. And Bly, I don't believe, has had an opportunity to scout that second and third Stargate.
He's seen the second one, not the third.
Okay, so even seeing the second one, he should be transitioning. Yeah, he's going to all in. But not seeing the third Stargate is huge here. Bly's going to be expecting 2, maybe 3 Void Rays. And there's not. We can see there's already 4. There's going to be probably 6 by the time Bly moves out. He's bought Queens, but look how many Void Rays there already are.
And it's only 2 Queens, Grant. It's only 2 Queens. The transfuse is down already. The third Queen desperately trying to get here, but this is a big mistake from Bly. Pulling those Queens out early and not having the others to deal with them is so tough. Nice corrosive bile dodges here by ShaDoWn, and Bly's in a lot of trouble, even though it looked like he might have had a really good timing here. With the 6th Void Ray out, Grant, this looks really bad for our Ukrainian Surfer player.
Yeah, Bly stopped on 52 workers. He's not been able to make any. Now, Bly's doing a good job over at the third with a Ling Ravager run by here. He's going to be able to kill a lot of workers. He's going to get rid of that Omega Super Ultra battery as well, and now all these workers will start falling, and this is nice, but Bly needs more. He has nothing. He has no ammo.
Has lost 14 probes, and look at the worker count.
But look at the Void Rays crate and flying into Bly's base right now. There's already, what, 1, 2, 3. There's a number of Void Rays here. There's only the one Spore here. The lair is going to be targeted. I don't know why he didn't go for it. I think he could have taken the kill there on the lair. I guess he doesn't want to throw away these Void Rays, knowing that they are his damage right now. Very nice defense so far from Bly as the Void Ray does fall. And now the Spore's getting into position. Another will fall. How is Bly doing this? He had nothing and he kills the Void Rays.
Wow, this is phenomenal play from Bly, realizing his lair tech wouldn't be ready in time, trying to capitalize on the damage he was able to do earlier against the probes. Again, drawing the worker count even, adding on those extra Queens back home for defense. He's still relying solely on Queens for defense, which I think is not viable long-term, but now, finally, lair tech, Hydralisk Den, it looks like, unless ShaDoWn can put some early pressure on, Bly has a very real chance at stabilizing.
Yeah, but he needs workers, like, desperately. He's still only in the 50s. And even a couple more having to go down as he throws down his tech. He's trying to make them. He's trying to get an infestation pit, a Hydra Den, roach speed, more gases. So much that he's having to pour right now into stabilizing, as you said. that he just, it's a very scary time for Bly. Now, he does have a good queen count. We're looking at 7 queens, but his army right now is just 18 lings and 2 ravagers. And neither of those are very good against this amount of void rays. Bly's going to have to rely on good spore positioning and good queen movement and maneuverability here to make sure he doesn't take too much damage. And he does have those spores, which I like. But look at all of these void rays. And I said the lair might go down. See ya, nerds. It's gone.
Yeah, luckily Bly did get his infestation pit down before that, and a bathing nest, so he's got a chance at like rebuilding fairly quickly, but he's going to lose all these drones as well. Despite the Ling run-bys into ShaDoWn's third base, Bly is eating a lot of damage, and Grant, this is the danger we talked about earlier. Relying on just queens to defend against these void rays is not enough. He only have 50 workers to saturate him up, and as you said, +1 about to finish. Our first upgrade of the game, going to finish at about the 10.5 minute mark for ShaDoWn. Wow. And really, ShaDoWn has been doing an excellent job of defending. I will say Bly has done a phenomenal job this game of Ling run-bys. Those are the only reason that he had a chance in the mid-game to come back. ShaDoWn has been eating so much damage, but he's been getting better and better over the course of the game at stationing those zealots, leaving some units back home, and making sure that Bly cannot find any sneaky ways to come back. It's going to be very difficult for Bly to come back now. He's adding on some banelings and creating group finds for Hydras, which might help. But I don't know about that. Yeah, no speed, no +1. It's just pretty sad right now. I think ShaDoWn's in a solid spot.
Yeah, with Archons joining the fray, ShaDoWn's army gets infinitely more tanky. It's able to take more prolonged fights now, with Storm behind as well. I mean, this army does not like Storms. Every one of them light units. You can see the banelings melting. And now ShaDoWn has complete control of this high ground area of the map. High Templars just looking for the flank, looking for that moment to rain down some bad weather. Oh, and oh my god, I mean, what is ShaDoWn doing wrong right now? Nothing.
He's out zerging a zerg is what he's doing, Grant. He's got a zealot run-by in the 4th base, a zealot run-by in the natural, zealots in the main, and now his main army going to marry up with those zealots eventually. Looks like Billie Holiday would be proud of him. More stormy weather on the way for Bly today.
Got that one.
You did, attaboy.
I did. Now, one thing I'm going to say, ShaDoWn maybe threw himself a little thin. He did throw away a lot of units there, but look at the worker count, 24 to 70, +2 already, just over halfway done here for our Protoss player. And I mean, the army of ShaDoWn, he threw away his High Templars. They were mis-microed there as it was controlling some zealots, but Bly has no creep. He has no anything. He's trying to make some win festers here, but this isn't 2012. They are not a win condition anymore, and I'm afraid for Bly that it is.
Player, it's looking pretty grim.
Creighton, it's like you're reading my freaking mind, because yeah,
it's almost like we've casted before, Grant.
Yeah, I know. The new Pro Tour logo looking sexy. That's probably the only sexy looking thing right now if you're Bly, because the army moving across the map is going to decimate him. ShaDoWn moves forward and sees, wow, he doesn't even have a 4th base. He barely has a 3rd base. It's not even up yet. ShaDoWn is taking his 5th. Look at the High Templars. Look at the army. ShaDoWn,
oh god, I want this storm. I want this storm so bad, Grant. Get it.
Ooh,
get it. Ooh,
that's
good fungal.
Yeah, very nice fungal growth there. One High Templar does manage to get a pretty good storm on top of the queens, but I mean, the army is just so strong. ShaDoWn can A move, or a decent storm again on the north side. The south flank is looking pretty good here for Bly. He may...
Nah. There's still Archons in this fight. Yeah, a little A move on the High Templar there, but he's got so many storms, he doesn't even care. And then, of course, these zealot run-bys from the back. That's going to sew it up. GG! ShaDoWn is...
We hop into our next map. And Creighton, why don't you introduce our first player as I find your camera?
I'd love to, Grant. We have got on Light Shade, LE, spawning in the top left-hand side, our Ukrainian player from Raise Your Edge Gaming. What a great team name. That is Alexander Sivizik. It is Bly. I butchered his last name, but I think it's close enough.
Hutch, did you just call him?
His name is Alexander Sviziuk.
See, I know him by Sasha. That's his name on Facebook. I think he has like 11 names.
Enough drones to make it sort of work. He built up the infrastructure ahead of time, and he was ready to roll, so he could crank out units in the mid game and defend against the void rays of ShaDoWn. This game, Bly is not going to have that advantage. Remember, last game his 3rd base was down before the 2-minute mark. Yeah. This game, when his aggressive opener worked a little bit better, it is actually going to hurt his mid game a little bit more. So he won't quite have the same advantage as he had last game, and ShaDoWn will have those similar advantages. A little bit of air tech to begin with, the robo down, the twilight down, the +1 advantage. And even though Bly's going for a lot of roaches here, I don't think he's going all in. With a lair behind this and more roaches popping out, he's probably going to wait for speed before he really makes a big push.
We do have a lot of queens starting to create a bit of a creep highway towards a third, so I think Bly's certainly looking for pressure here on that third base. We see gateways going down to create a wall, extra batteries coming in as well. ShaDoWn is playing very intelligent StarCraft in the first map and now this one. Getting a good scout with these hallucinations as well is very nice.
Yeah.
But right now I think ShaDoWn needs to buy himself a bit of time because this is a scary army from Bly. 61 to 34 army supply. Oracle's not so great against queens and roaches, Creighton Olsen. There are some Ravagers coming in as well. There's no Void Rays this time. That is the difference. Now, this wall is very, very smart. I really like it. But Oracle 1 already going down here. This is a lot of queens, Creighton.
Not an auspicious start here. You know, I said Bly probably wasn't going to go all in with that lair tech down. The lair tech might just have been insurance for this really strong timing push for Bly. Again, not an all-in, but he is way behind in drones here. So if this gets cleaned up by ShaDoWn, it's going to be good. But right now, he's going to depower everything. There shouldn't be there is shield battery overcharge available, but I think with this many corrosive biles, he can pop down a couple of these pylons and might have a really good chance of depowering everything in this base here. Not a lot on the ground for ShaDoWn right now.
Yes, now, Super Battery is available here for ShaDoWn if he wants to throw it down, and we should see that coming down very shortly. I'm very surprised we haven't. Oh, we have. Okay, I just missed it. The Oracle's doing a good job on the north side, and there is an Immortal in the back. There's so many batteries here, and you can see Roaches not so great against Stalker Immortal. This one Immortal has been having an absolute field day, offering so much damage over time here, and it looks like Bly's being pushed back. And this is what, all of his queens, right? No, he's got 8, so what? This is a good chunk of his queens. But it looks like ShaDoWn taking a lead here. Bly went for a very, very aggressive push, tried to maraud his way across the map, even a force field to take one extra down, but he's just not been able to make it happen.
A very expensive hold for ShaDoWn, no doubt. Losing a pylon, losing 2 shield batteries, having to build a total of 6 shield batteries to keep up with that fight. But look at the supply, look at the worker count. We said it earlier, we'll say it again. Bly started this game more aggressively, meaning his mid game is a little less powerful, and he's really reaping the I was going to say the results, but whatever the opposite of results are, reaping the wrath of that early game opener here. And the Immortal from ShaDoWn still alive. As long as ShaDoWn can get in a Warp Prism out pretty soon, he could go on the offensive and really put some pressure on Bly.
Bly finds a couple of workers here. 4 is a good number. If he can get maybe 1 or 2 more, that would be nice. But there's so many batteries. This base is so safe. Now, one thing I will say is neither player have been able to expand further. And at the 10-minute mark, you'd really like to see like Bly taking that 4th. And ShaDoWn needs to get a 4th. That is really how he can power up in this game. As his tech continues to grow with the robotics bay going down, he's going to need that extra gas income. He's going to need a few extra minerals. His main, you can see, almost entirely mined out here. We do have a scrap going to the north. The Immortal's been caught. It looks like it will be saved, but that's a lot of damage on it. Will it be saved? Yes.
You know what would have saved that, Grant, is a freaking Warp Prism. No Warp Prism. Come on.
For now, but the upgrades. I don't know if ShaDoWn knows how good a position he's in right now. 88 to 121 army supply. ShaDoWn, I think, wants to try and max. He's finally getting that Prism crate, and he's listening.
He's got to be.
Yeah, without a doubt. Of course, we're on a delay. He's not listening. But no bailing speed. Look. Okay, that was something. The Queen's down to the south. They're out of position. They may be caught here. No, okay. We have the flank coming in. It looks like Bly is going to go for his Hail Mary as you drop the football.
Look at those force fields, though. Zoning out the bottom army, giving ShaDoWn just enough time to murder all the queens on the east side, or the west side of the map, rather, and that eastern flank not able to engage in time, and that means that ShaDoWn can get this giant Protoss army into a big death ball and move it forward. Look, there's a reason that Protoss death ball is a phrase, because when the Protoss army is all together, it does so much damage. Bly's doing a great job of zoning out with corrosive biles because he has every roach in char in his army, but with good force fields, again, these banelings going to crash onto one of the Colossus, onto a couple of the Stalkers, but the army supply is still way in favor of ShaDoWn here, Grant. Yeah,
Bly's starting to do a better job. He has a good concave, and a lot of the power units did fall down. There's not many sentries left, but now the Prism is here. One thing ShaDoWn forgot was extended thermal lance. That's finishing up very, very shortly as Bly's +1 has finished. Maybe, just maybe, a glimmer of hope for Bly. But he's down in supply, down 30 supply against a Protoss player. It's just not what you want. And as I said, the 4th for ShaDoWn, that essential 4th base is up. It's rocking and it's rolling. And Bly is stuck on such a low-tech army. He's trying to get Baneling speed, but he doesn't have any Banelings left. It's all going to come down to whether these biles can get magical connections. And I'm losing hope once again as Oracle's coming to blink forward.
What a blunk there from ShaDoWn. Get blunked on, Bly. A lot of Ravagers going down immediately. The Ravager count about half what it was earlier, and that means fewer corrosive biles, less zoning. Honestly, the Ravager biles earlier, Grant, were just buying Bly a little bit of time, pushing the army of ShaDoWn back so he would dodge them so he wouldn't get the damage, and then re-engage, and it gave Bly a little bit of time to get back on top of this. But now the Ravager count down, the Baneling count, as you said, down to 0. And Grant, do you want to hear the really good news?